Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Ariana Dieva, your host, and welcome back to The Civil Point with none other than moi. We are back with a brand new episode. I can talk, I can speak, I can voice my opinions and my concerns about this insidious, insane, institutionalized administration that needs to be put behind a padded cell. I could talk about it all because I am no longer sick. I am fully recuperated and I am so happy about it. But before I forget, if you guys haven't already, you guys can go ahead and hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on brand new podcast episodes right here on YouTube. And obviously, all the other links are right here if you would like to follow me elsewhere. But everything is right here and available to you right on YouTube. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on the Civil Point podcast and brand new episodes and content as we continue to talk about this administration, the crimes they commit on the daily, and how they try and cover up these serious, insidious crimes. But before we get into all of that today, what I do want to get into is Christmas. It's literally right around the corner. It's like literally 3 weeks away, and I'm just like, where did the time go? I remember no one really celebrated Halloween. I just felt like no one celebrated it. There was no like extravagant decorations, and it just wasn't as celebrated as previous years. I feel like every year I grow up a little bit more. Every year it gets less and less and less more holiday-like, which is really horrible. It's like you're just like, you continue to get deeper and deeper into this matrix where it's no longer about individuality and celebrating each other. It's about being on this hamster wheel of life and trying to somehow figure it out. But no one celebrated Halloween. I feel like Thanksgiving went by quick. And then also on Thanksgiving weekend, you have Black Friday, and Black Friday was a bust. Target decided to give out some stupid swag bags that had literally nothing in them. I actually wanted to pull it up here. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. Look at what was in these Target swag bags, okay? Okay, listen. So, a gigantic Target swag bag, like horribly gigantic. It did not need to have any of this stuff in it for this gigantic of a bag. But you got Uno cards that you can get from the dollar store. You got gummies, you got makeup, elf makeup. I mean, for a gigantic swag bag that's this big, and Target's gonna put in Uno cards and elf makeup. Like, you could have at least put in necessities that people need, like toilet paper and paper towels or soaps or something of that kind, but apparently that's too expensive for Target. I mean, obviously they're going out of business and they're running rampant in regards to their sales after the boycotts that they decided to ensue upon because they decided to remove and repeal their DEI programs, but that's their fault. So they tried to dupe customers into waiting 6 hours in line in the cold, in the snow, and they give them this BS swag bag. And I'm just like, I swear, if I waited outside for a swag bag and this was it, I would be pissed off. I probably would have burnt down the Target I was in. But then again, Target is going out of business, and this is just a last-ditch effort for them to try and sell their inventory, probably. But again, I just feel like Black Friday wasn't it. I feel like there was no sales. There was this, I was on Amazon, and I have this cutting board that I got a few months ago, and I need a new one because I ruin everything, and I went to go buy it again because I really liked it. And tell me why on Black Friday it was more than what I paid for it, and then on top of it, on that Black Friday on that Amazon page, it also said Black Friday sale. So how Trump's tariffs, obviously, but like, it's more than what I paid for it, and it's still on a Black Friday sale, and it's still more than what I originally paid for it like 6 months ago. That's insane. So it's just like insane. I feel like Black Friday just doesn't exist. I just feel like it doesn't exist this year, and that's okay. No, it's not okay, because Fox is over here Fox and the right is over here saying, you don't need to buy Christmas presents for everyone. Stick to the necessities like kids. It's like, if you want a telltale sign and a 5 a.m. alarm that the economy is not doing well, it's that people can't afford, and our news stations are telling us that if you can't afford, just buy for specific and certain people in your lives. Isn't that like the negation of what Christmas is, though? You're supposed to give to people, give gifts to people, celebrate with family and things of that nature. You know, the right is so much about, let's not change the definitions of words. And if we change the definition of now Christmas because our economy is bad, because the person you put into office, Con Don, ruined our economy, so you can't afford Christmas presents for everyone in your life, well, that's changing the definition of what Christmas is about, technically. So pick and choose your battles on what you want to and what you don't want to change definitions on, because it's a little ridiculous that you don't want to change definitions to inclusion for marriage equality, but then you want to change the definition for Christmas because the man you voted in ruined the economy to where people can't afford gifts for everybody. It is what it is. But I wanted to get into it today. Let's get into the war criminal himself, the drunk, idiotic idiot that sits at the Secretary of Defense, or the Secretary of War. So Pete Hegseth is going to be under investigation for war crimes and murders. What is happening currently right now is that in early September, Pete Hegseth, he decided to strike a boat off the coast and destroy a boat. And while destroying the boat with narco-terrorists and pounds of drugs on the boat, there were 2 survivors, and those survivors were then killed in a second strike. So in that case, those survivors should have lived, and America should have taken those survivors, not killed them. So the issue at hand here is that that second strike was unauthorized and considered illegal in international warfare. That's what the basis of this is. And obviously, I just feel like we have idiots in the White House. We have complete and utter stupidity when it comes to these people who make mistakes and they don't take accountability. It's like their black card here. Like every time they just whip out their black card, it's like no accountability taken. And obviously, who's going to take accountability for an international war crime for murder? But at the same time, it's like our own president isn't even hanging out this man, Pete Hegseth, who committed the war crime. Not only that, but our president and Pete Hegseth are now trying to deviate and back away from the issue and blame it on other people. Like other people are in charge of our government. I'm sorry, but if you are the Secretary of War, Secretary of Defense, and the president, and you're saying that someone else called the shot for that second strike on the individuals who survived off the initial boat strike that took down the boat, well then, you're saying that other people are running our government, and you have no clue who the hell is running our government, who the hell is making these decisions, these critical decisions that could bring us into a war and not only jeopardize America, but jeopardize American citizens on American soil. See, this is why it's important to have an education. This is why it's important to have some sort of experience when it comes to putting people in these positions such as Secretary of Defense. It's ridiculous that we have Pete Hegseth running our military, and he literally is now backtracking and moving away from his own strike, his own volition. I mean, when you say kill everybody, that's an order to kill everybody. There is no sort of way that you can back off this and say, I had nothing to do with this, and blame it on someone else. Because either way, you either look incompetent or incompetent. And we both know Pete Hegseth is just a drunk who treats the military as a fraternity and wants to turn it upside down and get rid of the fat gays in the military. It's weird. So obviously, you know what? Another thing is, I want to know who is going to serve in war. Because according to Pete Hegseth, the only person who can serve in war is going to be white Christian nationalist men. Okay? Because DEI is out of the question. So when we go to war, there is no calling on the trans woman. There's no calling on the black woman. There's no calling on women in general. There's no calling on Latinos. There's no calling on any minority groups of people at this point for this country to defend itself, because this country's administration, this country's presidency has demonized all those groups of people and taking them out of places where they can serve. So who's going to defend this country when you need it, because the idiots you put into office are deciding to do war crimes that could jeopardize American soil and American citizens' lives? Who's going to defend this country? Because the administration is making sure that no one can serve in the military unless it's white men. So get ready to send your sons and daughters from church all the way to freaking Afghanistan or Iraq or Venezuela, because this administration is going to make sure that you guys are going to send your sons and daughters to be killed for an administration that is incompetent. Okay? So I wanted to also touch on this real quick, because I saw this on TikTok and I was like, okay, whoa, this is actually like common sense. And yet you still have people who want to argue against common sense. It's crazy to me. So let's go ahead and take a look at this here. So this is on CNN, and this is Van Latham, and he makes such an obvious point when it comes to wars, when it comes to our country serving in wars, our citizens serving in wars, and he's basically saying, like, you're now all giving it away. You're giving it away to basically serve a dictator in Trump instead of trying to compartmentalize and understand that war is not always the answer. War should never be the answer. We should always avoid war because it kills people and life is precious. And you want to talk about the pro-lifers. We need to protect life. We need to make sure it's sacred. Yet you guys are sitting here and electing people who are doing erratic strikes that could send your sons and daughters, or sons, your white sons, to war. So let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Wow. You guys ever hear like just how cavalier we are about talking about like killing people?
Yeah.
Like park a Tomahawk cruise missile, people die. They're gonna die. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm saying is this: it's
wars kill people and break things. That's the nature of war.
Wars kill people and break things. That's the nature of war.
Drugs do too. 108,000 last year, including plenty.
I just hope you guys know you're about to give away the whole thing. I hope everyone at home and everyone watching everywhere, you guys are about to give away the whole thing. The entire thing that you spent all time telling people that it was a big deal, to have due process, to investigate things, to pick your targets, to use American force when American force is necessary.
Be smart.
To value human life, to not put people in harm's way. You're about to lose the whole thing. When I say you're about to lose the whole thing, this is what I mean. If you blindly go along with the Church of Trump, whatever he says is appropriate to do, then what you do is you sign up for the church of everyone. Won't just be the Church of Trump.
I didn't say that.
It'll be the church of the next guy, and the church of the next guy, and the church of the next person.
And listen, this is why this administration is very dangerous. This is why the people who are working behind the scenes in this administration and in prominent positions, such as Pete HEGSETH, such as Stephen Miller, all of these weirdos that support this white Christian nationalism version of America. This is why it's so dangerous, because you're not supporting the law if you elect these people into offices. You're not supporting the law that protects our citizens, that protects every citizen equally. You're supporting a man who has an idea that is the antithesis of what it means to be American. And then if you support the Church of Trump, like Van said, well then guess what? You're going to support the next church of someone else who showers you with compliments and gifts and, promises that are never going to be kept. Instead, the only promises that will be kept are going to be to the elite and the people who kiss Trump's ass or the next Trump's ass. So it's very telling here. What he's saying is that stop kissing these people's asses and start paying attention to what the law says that protects human beings and everyone on American soil. Because if you don't pay attention and use the rule of law to justify and serve justice to people, well then guess what? You'll have a dictator like Trump who will say whatever I say goes, and then all of a sudden he's murdering people in the middle of Fifth Ave like he said he will do, and no one's going to bat an eye or challenge him to it because you elected a dictator.
They go to Congress and get permission.
I'm telling you right now, blowing away people.
No.
In other countries, in other nations.
I don't know what that means.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what it means. What I tell you,
I've been to war twice. I'm the son of a veteran who went to war twice. I'm the grandson of a veteran who went to war 3 times.
Where'd you go to war?
And I'm the father of a young Army officer right now.
I appreciate your service. Where'd you go to war?
Iraq and Afghanistan.
You went to Iraq and Afghanistan. Guess what?
The reality is that
you shouldn't have been there.
You shouldn't have been.
That's a whole other conversation.
It's not. That's the conversation.
It's not a whole other conversation. You shouldn't have been in war. Your country should not have sent you to war. Your country should have not sent you into a place where you could be killed on behalf of some stupid mission of some, stupid, the word left my mind. Oh my God. Word totally left my mind. But you should not be sent to war on behalf of a country for some sort of mission that is so minuscule or serves a small amount of people. Yet they're going to send you to war? This is it's crazy.
I'm not
going to let you do that.
Wait a second.
It's the exact conversation.
Hang on, I'm not going to let you do that.
The
reality is,
I respect his service.
Those who have been to war don't want it, but we will end it if we have to. That's where we are.
You shouldn't have been in Iraq, because that's war.
That's not what we're talking about.
That is exactly what we're talking about.
Stay focused.
Every single generation we have the same conversation because you warmongers won't learn nothing.
There are people killing Americans.
Every single
and you want to sit on your heels
we have
and do
the
nothing.
Exact same conversation.
You would sit back and let somebody invade your own house.
See a nail every 15 or 20 years.
I just want to agree with Van.
And that absolutely means nothing.
Just 1 second. I just want to give Phil just a moment because we do respect your service.
Well, I appreciate that.
But I think just to distill the conversation, the point Van is trying to make is that when political leaders make decisions to send men and women to war, people like you go to war, and people like you sometimes don't come home from war. And I do think, even as you are committed to finishing whatever we start, isn't that a fair conversation to have with our political leaders?
Absolutely, and I think we're having it. But the idea...
We're not having it because people like you are still sitting here on camera spouting to nationally, hey, if we're in war, we better go to war because our political leaders are sending us to war. We should not be sent to war. Our political leaders should do everything in their power to not send us to war, to not send citizens to war to where they can be killed and not come home to their families, not come home to their mothers, not come home to their fathers. Instead, they're following this political idea and this nationalistic idea that you must die for your country. But the truth is, you shouldn't have to die for your country. You shouldn't have to die for political leaders that make stupid and ignorant mistakes. No, you should be able to live in your country securely without political leaders pulling strings that allow people to die in the process that serve the few. That's the problem, and that's what they're getting at here. And yet you have this man who's sitting here with a blank wall in his face of nationalism saying, if I live in America, I'm going to die for America, which is great if the cause is just, if the reason is just. But when the reason is not just and it serves some sort of just perverse political few, well, then that's when we need to stand up and take a question and say, hey, is this what our country truly needs when we're sending our men and women overseas to fight wars and kill and be killed? For what reason? We shouldn't be at war. We should avoid war at all costs, and it should be a last resort. That is what they're saying.
That Van was espousing a moment ago, that we shouldn't have gone to Iraq. That's nothing what we're talking about. What we're talking about right now is there are people killing Americans, and for us to say, you can invade our house and assault our family and we won't say boo about it, That's wrong. This is not a war we started. This is a war that we're going to finish, though. That's the difference. Peace with strength.
See, they like to conflate 42 different issues. He conflated now immigration issues and immigration lies with a war overseas. And I'm so tired that these right-wing extremists continue to not have a backbone or any sort of plate to stand on because they have to continue conflating issues to not answer questions. Here's the question. Should political leaders send their American citizens to war for the benefit of the few, of the political leaders? No. That's the simple goddamn answer. Okay? Simple answer. So when we talk about all of this, it's just insane to me. And it becomes this question of accountability. And when is this issue of accountability not being held going to end, especially in prominent offices like our administration, such as the president, such as Condon, such as Pete Hegseth, such as the cabinet that follows Trump around while he sleeps in the Oval Office. It's insane to me that we have these elected officials that have no sort of merit or morality in them to hold themselves to a standard that has been held by multiple, if not all presidents prior, other than like Richard Nixon and a few others. But to not have the merit or morality to hold themselves to a standard to work for the American citizens instead of working for themselves and lining their pockets to become richer. And yet you still have Trump in the White House who ran on the act of we need to make life affordable for the everyday American. And now the word affordable is a scam according to Donald Trump. Let's take a look.
But our prices now for energy, but for gasoline are really low. Electricity's coming down.
Which it's not. Lies.
And when that comes down, everything comes down.
Lies.
But the word affordability is a Democrat scam. They say it, and then they go into the next subject. And everyone thinks, oh, they had lower prices. No, they had the worst inflation in the history of our country. But our prices...
So even if Democrats or the Biden administration had the worst inflation in American history, Trump still made the promise to fix the inflation and still has not done anything to properly fix the economic issue of inflation, like he said he promised he would do on day one. He has not done anything to stride towards helping American citizens. Instead, he duped you guys into voting for him like the fraud he is, and now he's saying affordability is a Democrat hoax. So let's listen to that one more time.
And when that comes down, everything comes down. But the word affordability is a Democrat scam.
How? I'm trying to understand it. I'm trying to understand it. I really am. How is the word affordability a Democrat scam? How is the word affordability a scam? Affordable means people can afford life, can afford living, can afford purchasing groceries and gas to get to work and have a job and be afforded a livable wage. I'm confused as to where he's conflating the word affordable and scam together. It's just not computing in my head. And then to call it a Democrat scam when he ran on affordability and making life affordable for Americans, then that means he's scamming Americans because he literally said and ran on affordability for his whole election. So please make it make sense. The only scam and the only scammer here is Condon. It's Chito Bendito, okay? And he said it straight up. I mean, every time, and it's a track record now, because every time he says he's going to fix something, he doesn't. Every time he said he's going to release the Epstein files, he doesn't. labels it a Democrat scam. Every time he said he was going to fix the government, make sure it's not shut down, and then all of a sudden it's a Democrat scam. And then he says, okay, we're going to make things affordable, run on it for his whole election scheme, and then get elected to president, and now 10 months later saying the word affordability is a Democrat scam. Do you not see the track record that he has no plans to fix America? He has no plans to help Americans and everyday Americans actually gain access to healthcare, actually gain access to affordable healthcare, because the word affordable is a scam, actually gain access to affordable food sources. No, he has no plan, hasn't had a plan, and he's been in 10 months and has had not one clue or idea or iota of some sort of concoction to help American citizens. And it proves it again, because all he does is say, this is what I ran on. Well, guess what? Now it's a Democrat scam. No, it's a Trump scam. You scammed America, Trump. Ugh, I can't do it. It's just insanity. And how do they get online? Online, because Trump is on True Social. How does he get online and continuously lie? Because he has no soul. He's immoral. Like, these people are immoral. And something else that is immoral is sitting here and actually spouting from X. Ugh, I can't stand X, by the way. Every time I log into X, it's just Christian nationalism. It's extreme Christianism. It's extremely religious. It's like, I don't even recognize X because I only recognize Twitter. Twitter used to be dope, and then it got bought by Elon Musk. But I wanted to talk about this too, because WTF is this. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is right-wing influencer, I guess you could say. And honestly, she's so annoying. She's tired. She's mad she lost to a trans woman when she also lost to 4 other women before her because she came in 5th place. And it's like, girl, go get a grip on life. Go do something with your life. I know you got 5 minutes of fame from bashing a trans woman, but actually, like, go do something proper and productive with your life instead of getting on X and posting the stupidity that you do. And like I say, maybe before you post things, you should actually look at the glass house that you're in. So she posted this and it just like triggered me because I was like, why don't you look at your own faith, your own religion probably, and see how throwing stones in a glass house can break very easily. So she put on X, reminder that Sharia law is rooted in pedophilia, total oppression of women, honor killings, and forced compliance. Deal with that as you will. Well, I'm going to do with that as I will. And it's time to compare and contrast and have a little educational session here. Because, I mean, if we compare Sharia law with Christianity, I mean, let's look at the first example, pedophilia. Sweetie, the Christian church protects PDFs. And we've known that for decades, okay? They protect them because they need to protect the image of the church. So they will allow a priest, a deacon, a pastor to commit heinous acts and abuse against children to protect the image of the church. Okay, so you want to talk about what's rooted in pedophilia? Let's talk about your church altars in the back rooms where the altar boys are with the priests and pastors, okay? That's what you call rooted in pedophilia, sweetie. And then let's talk about the total oppression of women. I mean, you have pastors on TikTok and pastors on X spouting out this insane misogynistic rhetoric that women need to be subservient to men, that women shouldn't be able to vote, and it should be the vote of the household, which is headed by a man. And how about subservient to women, where women are just sexual beings? How about subservient to men, where they want to make the age of womanhood start at 15 for these sick, psychotic PDF individuals to please themselves? How about that total oppression of women? Because that is what your Christian pastors and your Christian influencers are speaking and promoting and provoking and trying to instill in the United States under law. Okay? Let's talk about that total oppression of women, Riley. And how about honor killings? Honor killings. I mean, I'm pretty sure if we go centuries and centuries ago in regards to Christianity, we can find a bunch of honor killings. I mean, let's talk about the Salem witch trials. I mean, Christians literally persecuted women for allegedly being witches, which we all know magic doesn't truly exist in this world. To an extent. That's another conversation. But like, come on, let's talk about honor killings. Like, in the name of God, we're going to kill this person to rid them of the sin they are, right? Honor killings. And let's talk about forced compliance. And we see this in everyday life today in our government and how they try to instill laws that looks to demonize and ostracize certain groups of people from existing in society. And if you don't follow Christianity through law that they're trying to enact in the United States, well, then you will not be deemed as human. You will not be deemed as a citizen. You will not have certain rights. Okay, so let's talk about the forced compliance that Christians continue to force down everyone's throat that does not support the Christian religion. How about the forced compliance going door to door trying to convert people to Christianity? No, I'm going to say this flat out, okay? Christians, you're supposed to practice what you preach. You're not supposed to try and force people to divulge and digest a Bible that they are not ready for or do not want. Okay? God wouldn't want that. God wouldn't want that at all. He wants you to spread the word with love, not with forced compliance. So if we're looking at the compare and contrast here, it kind of looks like if Sharia law is rooted in pedophilia, total oppression of women, honor killings, and forced compliance, and we contrast it to Christianity, it looks like Christianity is basically Sharia law as well. So does that mean we should not allow Christianity in the United States too? Because it's rooted in all of the examples you gave, Riley Gaines. So let's just not throw stones in a glass house here, Riley. So overall, I'm just, it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating to see all of these right-wing influencers completely dismiss facts, dismiss the obvious state of the world, dismiss the dismissive acting of actual laws that are trying to be enacted in the United States to harm groups of people and rip apart families and rip apart kids and abuse kids. And yet we're sitting here like it just does not matter. Like, what the hell is going on here where we are allowing these people to destroy society? The right-wing Republican Party is destroying society, even though they're attempting to say they're trying to save and rebuild and replenish society into a Christian nation. They're destroying it and they are evil, okay? And I will show you why they're evil, okay? Let me pull this up here. Let me go ahead and pull it up. Nope, over here, pressing the wrong buttons here. I can't find it. Oh, here we go. Okay. Boom. Okay, so a news poll from Fox News was trying to push the idea that womanhood begins at 15 years old. Womanhood. Imagine trying to push the idea that womanhood begins at 15 years old. That's called pedophilia. That's called being a PDF. And that is an entire news station trying to propagandize and normalize womanhood starting at 15 years old. Is that not insanity? I mean, with the Megyn Kelly comments about Jeffrey Epstein liking barely legal women when literally they're little girls and minors, they are trying and working extra hard, especially if they are on national news stations about, polls and stating womanhood starts at 15 years old. It's insanity. crazy insanity. And the right wing always wants to tout out a conspiracy that everyone else is trying to harm children. Everyone else is trying to destroy children and trying to abuse children, such as drag queens reading books to children, such as, teachers teaching some sort of ideologies that they don't agree with, that parents don't agree with. It's all everyone else's fault. Everyone else is trying to harm children. Yet you have the right wing trying to make womanhood and normalize womanhood beginning at 15. You have the right wing saying that womanhood and, women's at 15 years old, that's the most fertile for a childbearing woman. That's a child, okay? So it's insane to me. Like, why would I think the right is trying to protect children when they're trying to actively engage in abusing and hurting children by altering the consent age of women from 15? You can't vote at 18. You can't consent to things at 15. So why would womanhood begin at 15 for any child? It's insane, it's sick, and it's sickening that Fox News is pushing the idea that 15-year-olds are women. It's sick. So altogether, this is the end of the episode for tonight. If you guys haven't already, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on brand new episodes of the Civil Point podcast with me, your host, Ariana Dieva. I feel like this episode was just like a little kick in the butt a little bit. I'm back because I'm trying to just get back into the flow of my life after being sick for 2 weeks. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out on brand new episodes of the Civil Point podcast with me, your host. You can follow me right here and subscribe right here on YouTube. All the other links are right here. Boom. And I will catch you guys on the next episode of the Civil Point podcast. Adios.